Now, something we have been discussing all morning here on Sunrise are these calls for the morning after pill to be made available to buy directly from pharmacy shelves. Well, joining us now to debate the topic is the Chief Executive of the British Pregnancy Advisory Service, Anne Furedi, and also we're speaking to Ailing Hubert from Christian Concern. Thanks very much indeed for being with us on Sunrise today. Anne, if I can turn to you first, why would you like to see these changes?
Well, the morning after pill is a real opportunity for women to take a second chance to prevent a pregnancy if her contraceptions let her down. And there seems to be absolutely no reason for women to be caused to really make a walk of shame, to have a discussion with a pharmacy, for the pharmacist to work out whether or not it's appropriate for her to use it. We think it should be on sale in pharmacies alongside the condoms, alongside the pregnancy tests, for women to be able to pick up without feeling that they're going to be judged by anyone.
Ailing, it is an issue, isn't it, for women who go to the pharmacy for the morning after pill, that they do have to go through what can be an embarrassing, an awkward conversation with a pharmacist, which many women don't believe is necessary.
Well, let's just look at what this conversation is. It's asking, are you over 16 years old, which I think is very important, especially if it's minors taking this pill, which is a strong pill. And questions like, what is your family medical history and what other medication are you on? I mean, these are very important when taking these kinds of drugs, which can cause adverse effects to women, especially developing young women. And actually, let's just look at what this pill is. This isn't just preventing pregnancy. This is also preventing implantation, which is when the sperm and the egg cell have already met and you've got a unique, whole, alive human being, and it's going to be prevented from implanting inside the womb. So it has abortifacient qualities, which many women aren't aware of. So it's not just preventing pregnancy, it is actually causing the end of a unique, whole human life.
Anne, you're shaking your head.
Well, I am. I'm shaking my head for two reasons. One is it is really important that everybody understands that, you know, this pill cannot cause an abortion. If you're already pregnant, it doesn't work. And the reason why I really make that point is because what we don't want is women trying to use this method to end an already established pregnancy. And the other thing is really on the risks. What we have to understand is that this pill is less risky than aspirin, it's less risky than paracetamol, it's less risky to women than many, many other drugs. And you just have to think the benefits of it are enormous. The benefits of it is that it can prevent a woman from having to go through all of the stuff that she has to deal with when she has a positive pregnancy test and she doesn't want to be pregnant. So let's just make it freely available. And let's be honest, if we don't want to make it available to women in the way that other drugs are, then be honest and say that it's for moral reasons. It's that we don't think that these young people should be having sex, because there is absolutely no other reason why it shouldn't be available, just like these other products.
Aisling, it's an interesting point, isn't it? Would you say that your debate is coming from a moral point of view?
From a human rights perspective, it's totally a lie for BPAS to say that this doesn't end a human life, because science tells us human life begins at the very moment of fertilization. Everything is there genetically. You know, your skin color is determined, your eye color, your sex. And look at the NHS website. It says that the morning after pill prevents ovulation and it prevents fertilization. But if those two fail, the third way the pill works is it thickens, or it thickens the lining of the uterus so that the embryo cannot implant, which is abortifacient. So it's a total lie for BPAS to say it doesn't end a human life. And of course, this is a moral issue if it comes to the ending of a human life. Of course it's a moral issue.
Aisling, you really have to stop there, because the one thing that you cannot accuse us of is lying about this. What you're talking about is the
but
action.
You've just said, look at the NHS website. Look at it, and it describes exactly what happens. Implantation is stopped. What else could that be?
This is a method of contraception. This is a method of contraception that works before a pregnancy test will show that a woman is positive. It's a method of contraception that works in the way that others do. You have a particular fundamentalist. You have a completely fundamentalist
totally
attitude to what contraception is, and you deny that certain methods of contraception are. Contraception prevents. Technically, contraception prevents a pregnancy from being established, but that's really not the point, is it?
But this is actually abortifacient. This is actually abortifacient, and many women
the phrase "and morning after pill" is slightly incongruous, isn't it? Because actually, the pill can be used for a number of days after intercourse.
It can. It can be used a number of days, but it's most effective the soonest that it's taken. But I really do have to come back to this point. You see, if this pill were a method of abortion, it could only be used in an abortion clinic. It could not be issued by pharmacists at all, because the abortion law regulates abortion. One of the reasons
then maybe we should look at it. Why aren't we looking at that?
One of the reasons why we are so keen that this product is on sale is because it can actually help to prevent abortion. And if you think that this is a method of abortion, you have to explain why. When you took this, you have to explain, Aisling, why when you took this to the High Court, it was thrown out by the judges because you and a small number of people have this perverse and very unscientific notion of what abortion is and what pregnancy is. Look at what the NHS website
says. It says that it prevents implantation. Now, if your definition of human life is at the moment of implantation as opposed to fertilisation, that's your interpretation. But science tells us human life begins at that very moment of fertilisation. You just need time to develop into a more adult and mature version of yourself. So everything about your genetic code is determined at that moment. And this pill, the very fact that you can have it after you've had sex means that ovulation may have happened. And so if ovulation's already happened, it can cause an abortion.
What other methods of contraception do you oppose? What other methods of contraception do you oppose?
That's not related to this issue.
It is related to this issue.
To talk about the abortifacient factor of contraception.
It's entirely related to this issue. And if you're calling politicians liars, if you're calling the Department of Health liars, what you're calling for is something that at the moment the law does not allow. And you can be as shrill as you like. But the point is that the law in this country says that this is a method of contraception, which is why, at the moment, you can get it from a pharmacist and why we're saying that you should be allowed to pick it up off the shelf.
Ladies,
it's as simple and straightforward as that.
I feel that this is something you two are going to be debating for many weeks, many months ahead. But we really appreciate your time this morning and your views as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Chief Executive of the British Pregnancy Advisory Service, Anne Frady, and also Aisling Hubert from Christian Concern. Thank you.